I know you've called it satellite programs, but as it's evolved, really involving other departments and what is important to them, and kind of leveraging Qualtrics to have them run their own kind of internal mini programs in the CX journey. So tell us more about how you leverage your cross-functional relationships to expand the growth of your overall program.
Well, it's more than the cross-functional relationships. It's part of buy-in, that organizational level buy-in is I never want to start a new program and start imposing those data points or those goals on other teams and departments. It needs to be important to them. So starting with the ELT level, it becoming part of our corporate strategy, then you start to have departments look at it and say, how do we leverage this to help us meet this organizational goal, right? Like this is now a corporate goal for us. How do we leverage this program? Everyone immediately thinks, well, we got to talk to Stephanie. She's the one who's running it. But I don't want to ever be doing it to them. So I have them help me create the questions for their point in the journey. We run through it. They test everything. I want to always make sure too that I'm connecting them back to, well, what results do you want to get out of these questions that you're asking? But the really important part is I give them decision making. I give them options, but they make the decisions on how and when their surveys get sent. Is it through Salesforce? Is it through an anonymous link? Is it an automated process? What does that look like for them so they can leverage and utilize it the most? The other part of that is, building it up, making sure that it works for them, but also getting the data back to them. So they could go into Qualtrics. We have limited licenses. That's part of us running a lean program. But it's about also pulling that data out. And we did engage with Red Pepper for professional services to get our data out of Qualtrics into a hosted database that we manage. And we get that information into Power BI. And all of a sudden, it's consumable in an environment and a platform that they're already using for other goal tracking. So really it's getting that to them however they need it. There's some teams where I do just give them an export of the data. They just want the Excel file. They load it up into whatever they're using, wherever they're tracking their team's goals. So the satellite programs are successful in that way. Like I don't have to feel like I'm some sort of czar or I'm, exerting a lot of control over it. That's not what it's about. The more control I want to exert on this program, I think the less successful it would be. Rather, it's about being flexible, meeting departments and teams where they're at, and just enabling them to use the data. The one thing I do really kind of provide, though, is guidance and governance. So we don't really stray too far from the established KPIs that we set as our 7 core KPIs that we measure. People do have flexibility in other questions that they want to ask, but I'm always making sure that I can tie something back to what we're tracking all the way across the journey. So there's no completely isolated or rogue surveys out there. They all fit into the bigger picture.
Yeah, I love that. It's I'm sure everyone's heard the phrase of you make it think it's their idea and they're all bought in. So
Yeah.
yeah,